Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. My name is Rochelle, Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I empower professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand to gain and attract lucrative opportunities. And we are focusing on certain areas, which are appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and digital presence. So, as you come into this show, please let us know where you're streaming in from. Give us your name because you could be anywhere else, but you decided to spend some time with us. And we so appreciate that. So, go ahead and put into the comments so that I can see. And so, what is this show all about, y'all? Okay, well, we're going to first start with the word slay. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. So on this show, I bring in SLAYMAZING guests. I search high and I'm searching really low for someone that isn't in alignment with the slave philosophies, and they are using them to make a positive impact in this world. And you believe in me that we need all the positivity, okay, in this world because there's a lot going on. So, as you come in, I see that we have Melissa. Hey, Melissa Villalobos, signing in from Arizona. Love you and your messages, Slay Queen. Thank you so much for that feedback. Absolutely love that you are here with us tonight. And if you hear anything that resonates with you, just go ahead and put it in the chat so we can have this conversation, right? And share. Go to the Slay to Success YouTube channel, and there you can share all of these particular episodes. And there's about, I would say, 300 things that you can watch. So you can binge watch all day long if you like. But we have amazing guests that have been on this show because guess what, y'all? In this world that we live in, there's so many things that are going on that we can get caught up in the mayhem. All right. But what we're doing is raising our voices, amplifying our well-being, and really getting out here and sharing what we have. Okay. So who do I got tonight, y'all? Okay. I have a SLAYMAZING woman. Okay. Now we met through one of our friends, Jen Ah, who was also on the show, and you can find her episode on the Slay to Success YouTube channel. And when we met, we decided, hey, it wasn't good enough for us just to be on the online. We wanted to make sure that we contacted each other. So we were on the phone and we were just having a conversation, y'all. And I was like, Trisha, would you like to be on the Slay to Success talk show? She says yes. So Trisha Richardson, all right, is our guest for tonight. And she's the owner of Style and Modern Etiquette, a business she founded over 5 years ago to help women feel confident, polished, and stylish at every stage of life. Does that sound familiar to what we speak to on this show? I hope that it does, because with more than 15 years of experience in real retail management and consultant in modern etiquette, she combines a keen fashion sense and expertise in how to navigate every kind of business and entertaining setting. She graduated merit from the English Manor in London and Beaumont Etiquette in New York City, and she is currently completing her certification with the International Style Coach Institute, focusing on color analysis and body type. Now, she empowers her clients to be confident in any situation, whether it's networking, hosting a business lunch, attending a conference, or managing social settings, so their personality and professional skills shine alongside their style. So please welcome my guest, Trisha Richardson, to the stage. Hey, Trisha.
Hello.
How are
Hello.
you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. How was your day today?
It was really good. It's just been a nice, calm Sunday.
Oh, see, that's a kind of Sunday that I like. Calm,
Mhm.
peaceful. There's not a lot going on. And
A
so
little
I am
rain.
excited. A little bit of rain, okay. A little bit of rain doesn't hurt nothing. I think that a lot of where we're living right now needs rain. So we need rain for sure. So hopefully we'll
Yes.
get some of that. But I'm so excited to have this conversation with you because this is something that I am also in this industry of, personal consulting, styling, image consulting, and it's just such a vast amount of information, right? And then when I could find somebody who could, uh, you know, have a conversation for an hour or so about this, I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. So first, thank you for being the guest on the show. And can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Um,
Absolutely.
I I love what I do. I, like you said, been doing it for over 5 years in my business, but in my previous life, working with clients and just seeing how excited they would get when they finally got that outfit together for their presentation or their event. It was just something that truly I loved watching, and eventually decided to make my own business so I could really help further further those goals for women.
Yeah. Anytime you could make someone happy about their choices, about what they're wearing, and they feel so powerful in their outfits, it's so amazing. It's just one of those nuances or, one of those strategies that we don't use enough of because we can turn it up. We could turn it up, and get that outfit that really speaks to the story that we are sharing. So, I'm very interested in your journey into the space. It's to kind of like dial back. You said you've been like 15 years, in retail management, doing something similar. So, what sparked that interest for you?
And ever since I was a kid, I love to mix and match my clothes and see just how far I could make them go. I even
Mm.
played a little game. I did a lot of clothes growing up, but what I did, I really used them and used them well. I had a little game in my mind that I would never repeat an outfit for 6 weeks. So I might use the same skirt, but I would style it several different ways. And so it started as an early teen, and it just kind of went from there. After raising my kids, I got into the fashion industry with a local boutique chain here in Mississippi, and it just kind of went from there. And I loved helping people. I loved going to market, just seeing what was next and how creative people could be and how people can express themselves through their their style.
Mm. Yeah, so you brought up a very good memory. And I think many of us, especially women, can relate to this. We didn't have a lot of clothes when we were growing up. I mean, I remember um, my closet was not filled with a lot of clothes like it is right now. Um,
Oh,
and you had to make it stretch. You did these different, like, okay, combinations of so that way that people couldn't recognize that you were wearing the same thing over and over again. I mean,
mhm.
but I love like you were doing that at a very young age and then, kind of developing that over time. So Facebook does not allow us to be great sometimes, right? So I do track Facebook here on my phone. So we have Jeba. Hey, Jeba, who is also big into fashion, and she is watching. And we have Kim Mallard as well, who's watching on Facebook. So thank you, Queens, for showing up on that side and holding it down. But you also mentioned that, when you went in a local boutique, right? And then I love shopping at boutiques because there's individual pieces and usually there's only one or two of those things. And,
Right.
you can buy things that are very unique. So what did you learn in the boutique?
I learned that you did not have to spend a lot of money in order to look great. That
Mm,
you could make a few investment pieces, but add into them at reasonable prices, and those clothes still. I've got, after even 5 years of leaving the boutique, I still have some of those items that I wear on repeat. Um, I also like the uniqueness that came with those very few limited pieces. You didn't see yourself coming and going in town.
mhm.
You really do individualize yourself. And I think that's
Yeah.
where people's confidence comes from a lot of times.
Yeah, I do too. Because, there's nothing like seeing your twin at an event. Like, for me, I I know, like, if I buy something from a big box store, that the chances of somebody wearing it are very high. Like,
Yes.
it is nerving to me. So, my preference is to shop at these local boutiques where, like you said, very limited selections and price points, that are reasonable. Um, so in your experience, like, what if someone was looking to revamp? Okay, like, I just like the 2026 is coming up. All right, like, everybody is trying to get themselves positioned maybe in a different way, and everybody says January 1st I'm going to go come out looking like X, Y, and Z, right?
Yes.
So what are some soft tips? I mean, these aren't, like, heavy tips that we're talking about. Some soft tips that you would share with someone who's looking to do that.
I think one of my number one tips would be go through your closet first
Mm,
and try everything on. And if you don't go, ooh, I love it, it needs to leave. It needs to be donated. It Take it out of your closet. That is the biggest thing, because everything in your closet you need to love. And if it's one of those items that you put on and every time you put it on you take it off because you can't get it styled just right, or you feel like it's not you, maybe it's too big, maybe it's too little, just get rid of it. And it's almost like decluttering your mind, because once you declutter your closet, your choices are so much more,
mm.
because you love everything and you can see it better. That would be my first tip. And then from there, I would be thinking, what pieces am I lacking? Do I need a better pair of black dress pants? Or do I need that pair of jeans for a Friday night, date night or something like that? Kind of assess what you are missing to make that whole wardrobe work. A lot of the clients I work with I've got one client, Amanda, that she's got a great wardrobe, but to really make it work, we needed to add in some blazers, um, those trousers that are trending right now, just so she could pair back things with those specific items to level up just a little bit. So that assessment of your closet would be another one. And thirdly, I would say stick with some neutrals. Neutrals can carry you so far, and they are timeless. And what's great about this fall is that we've got it kind of almost extremes of neutrals. We've got our beautiful beiges and grays, and then they're throwing in maroons, which are fabulous, and it's a new color. So when you stick to the neutrals, they all kind of mix and match, and you really get to use your wardrobe a lot. So
Yeah.
those are kind of my little soft tips. And strangely, change all your hangers out to velvet hangers. Whether I prefer a cream colored velvet hanger just because it's bright and kind of shows up better in your closet.
Mm.
But some clients already had an abundance of different colors, and we would go with whatever their predominant color, just so you wouldn't have to invest so much. But they're space saving hangers, and it just helps keep your closet a little easier to shop.
Yeah. I love that. Easier to shop because that's
Yeah.
my thing too. Is like
Yeah.
the less times that we spend in the store and have everything that we need like available. Because I
Yes.
don't know about you, Trisha, but I go to a lot of different things, right? The last thing that I want to be doing is spending all of my day in the mall, in the store, shopping, this and that. When I shop now, it is just to get a piece or an accessory
Yeah.
or something that is small, not like an overwhelming, let me buy 5 outfits today, kind of thing.
Mhm.
um I prefer to shop in my closet, and I love, 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 because we can all do this now. I know there's some of us that are probably at home, and you're probably like, oh my goodness, we've been forced to be at home, not by our own hand. But maybe you're into like doing some deep cleaning, right? You're looking to
Yeah.
like spruce up your house. Well, your closet can be one of those areas where you start to
Mhm.
think about like, what do I want to wear? And I love like try everything on. Try
Yes.
everything on and see what's going on, you know?
Mhm.
Um and even so, to your point too, is like COVID changed a lot. So let's just talk about COVID just a little bit.
Let's do.
Because yeah, because I heard so many things happen after people were said, "Hey, go back to work." All right. So they go back to
Mhm.
work and they're like, the clothes are not fitting, the shoes are dry rotted, there's a whole lot of things. Like, what were you experiencing in your line of work with your clients?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I quit my job and started my business, launched my business in March of 2020, about a week before we went into shutdown. So I was like, oh, you know, this is not what I expected.
Right.
So, yeah, um, that first year was kind of difficult because, we weren't working. We were all in our pajamas staying at home.
Oh
But
yeah.
once people started getting back out, it was like their mindset had changed. How they viewed themselves had even changed. Their idea of work
Mm,
totally different. We're just now starting to get back, I think, to um, more of a traditional work outfit. For so long,
yeah.
we were so casual, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of nice too. You can still style up being casual. But I do see a trend of people really getting back more to the traditional, what we think of business wear.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
yeah,
And I'm not sure if like localities make a difference. I know you're in Mississippi, and I'm in Maryland, and there may
mhm.
be like some different ways that people kind of express themselves through clothes in these different areas. But
Right.
here, like I am seeing color, like color is like it's a good thing. People are deciding
Yeah.
like, I want more color now. And I think that's just energy. I want to be
Yeah.
more energized or feel more energized, and I think clothes or, our presence and the way that we show up and carry
Mhm.
ourselves can definitely help with that and enhance the way that we're showing up. Now, Jen is here. Okay, Jen showed up for us tonight, and she says, great tips, Trisha. Keeping only pieces that work for you is definitely the first step. I share the similar tips with my clients too. So thank you,
Thank
Jen,
you,
for being
Jen.
here. You know,
That's so sweet of you, Jen. Thank you for coming on.
yeah, I mean, she is here, and I know that she's going to probably put in a few more comments for us because this is an important topic to talk about. I just don't, because people are really struggling to figure this out. There are some
Mhm.
people who are thinking, the trends are changing, the fashion sense is changing. Um, so, for example, the layouts of the stores have changed. I've noticed. Now,
Yes.
do a lot of shopping, if you will, for clients. And when I have gone in, like there are certain departments or stores that are really shifting the way that they are marketing the clothes. And so it's almost you have to have a map of these areas. So I have certain areas that I stay away from in the stores. Do you have
Mhm.
certain areas that you stay away from?
Yes, especially in the big box stores,
Mhm.
or the bigger department stores, I should say. Yes, there are areas that I do stay away from. I know which stores I want to go into because I can find substantial pieces that maybe look more designer, but they're not designer prices.
Right.
So, um, so I try to stay away from other things or certain parts of the store where maybe the fabric is not as um, rich or substantial or sustainable.
Right.
I try to stay away from things that don't hold their shape or
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
difficult to launch.
Yeah, I there are areas for sure. So here's where I'm at. Okay. I, I am 53 years old. I'm not, afraid to say my age out loud. Um, but I'm not ready to go into like the back of the store where it says, here are the prints on the shirts or the stripes or the way that they're made. It sends those certain vibes. Like
Yes,
the vibe is, I'm kind of like done with trying. And I
yes,
just want to put something like quick and easy on and not really care about like what's going on. Like my mindset, and you're right, the mindset of, you know, our especially with traumatic incidences or situations that we had, like the pandemic, they could send you into a space where you're just like, why bother? Why bother?
yes, yeah.
You know? So what would you say are the benefits of styling or just having a wardrobe that you enjoy? Like what are some of the benefits that you think come from that?
I think the biggest two that pop into my mind are the confidence that you have when you are expressing yourself through style. Um, the psychological benefits of being able to go into your closet and see yourself expressed in a refined, elegant way in what you like is is the number one reason to do it. I think it just I can't stress enough that confidence that you get expressing yourself through style and feeling like you are put together. Um,
Yeah.
and I think another benefit is you do save money when
Mhm.
you are not shopping all the time for odds and ends or saying you walk in your closet and go, I have nothing to wear, but it's packed full. And when you know what to put together and how, you're not spending your Saturdays. You're not spinning your wheels going, what am I going to wear for this presentation or this big event? It's already in your closet. So you get to be present in other areas of your life. And especially as women, we are so busy, whether you're, kids at school or you've got grandkids or you're, and then throw in work and everything that's going on. When you have that closet ready and you're not spending that decision time in the morning, you can easily save yourself 30 minutes when you've got your outfits, you know what you're wearing. So I think that is so important. A style, having your style defined is a way for you to reclaim so much time and confidence.
I agree.
And those are my big thoughts that
Yeah.
motivated me to make this my business. And that's what my clients say. Even earlier today, I was with a client and we were packing for a trip, and it just allows her to totally enjoy her weekend. We got it done. She's packed, ready to go. And so she gets to go have dinner in a calm evening with her family. And there's nothing better
Yeah.
than that.
Oh my goodness. You said so much into that. So before I, make comments about that, Jen says, looking the part is the start to boost your confidence. Absolutely.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and looking the part, owning the part, living the part. I think that is,
Mhm.
eventually getting to that point where it is effortless. Like you could
Yeah.
figure it out, right? You don't have
Mhm.
to have decision fatigue because you are just trying your best to figure out the night before. Sometimes it is in the morning that people are starting to figure out, like, oh my goodness, what am I going to wear? And, you know, with all the things that, for me to get dressed now,
Yeah.
there's a process. All right. I have a whole system, and that, which is another thing that I think
Yeah.
is important for us to have is, our routines in the morning. Like, what does that look like? And how much time do you need to make sure that, all the things that you want to look your best is done, right? So,
Yes.
I think that, laying out your clothes and having those things the night before is like a gym. Like that is the best way to start your day, with knowing that you got off on a good start and you weren't rushing around with your head cut off,
Mhm.
trying to figure out where did I put this and where did I put that, and having everything set out. And then when you
Mhm.
talk about packing is, for me, it is a game. Okay. I treat this as a game to see how can I stretch out my outfits with one pair of shoes. Now,
Yes.
I have done this and I go home, or get ready to go home to see my mom here, and she's like, I have the shoes on my feet and then the ones in the bag. And I'm pretty much
Yep.
good. I mean, I have my tennis shoes, which is another, because I
Yep.
work out. But as far as like everyday shoes to wear, and it has been so freeing because I'm not packing up everything. And I used to be packing
Exactly.
all the things. And I was like,
Yes.
man, I'm bringing my whole house with me.
Yeah. And we're too busy to pack like that and then have to unpack and do all that laundry, and we need to streamline it. So,
We have to. And I think that makes it, again, it makes our experiences even better because we're not fumbling around trying to figure out where things are and what goes with what. And then Jen also says decision fatigue is real. It is real. Okay. And looking the
yes.
part is a strategy. It is. That's why I love to do what I do. And I know that many people are like, well, what is this military girl over here talking about? And I'm like, well, when I was in service, like they gave us one thing to wear. Like we had the outfit and we had, the accessories that we had to wear, and that was it. So
Yes.
the evolution, or I would say the transformation that I had to make of wearing regular clothes every day has been challenging, but yet and still it has been the most rewarding because
Mhm.
I had the decision to intentionally build a wardrobe that I absolutely love. And I can go in there at any point and just say, okay, I got this thing going on tomorrow. I got this outfit and we are good to go. So you know, um, talked a little bit about, you know, the ins and outs, if you will, of our wardrobes and kind of getting ready. And, you're furthering um your awareness or knowledge about this space, and you're getting certifications. And so, okay, so let's talk about etiquette. Okay, because I feel like this is yet another thing that people get ready to go back to work. They're getting ready to go in person, and I've heard too many times that people don't know how to be with other humans. Like they have lost this whole social connection. So tell me a little bit from your world about the etiquette piece.
Okay. One thing the reason I went and decided to get my etiquette certification was I had several clients who are business women and they have to network a lot or they're going to conferences a lot. And there was a missing piece. You could have the outfit on that gave you the confidence,
Mm-hmm.
but then you might shrink back a little bit when you're at a networking event because you just weren't quite sure how to get it started. Part of the etiquette, the professional modern etiquette, is learning how to network and
Mm-hmm.
learning how to put yourself out there. And so I wanted to add that piece for them because I wanted my clients inner and outer confidence to show, and when they knew how to navigate every setting, they didn't have to worry about what they looked like or what they were going to say because we've talked about it, we've built it in. And so they entered these conferences in the network um, aspect of it, or even the dining with total confidence. So they could talk business, they could talk about their skills, they could just be relaxed and their true self come out. And I always say, I want my clients to own the room. And with etiquette, all etiquette really means it's you're treating everybody with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
You are making everybody feel comfortable. You are the hostess. And so that's even part of networking. Pretend you're the hostess of the party and you're just trying to get to know people and introduce people and not to wait on people to come to you to introduce themselves, but you go to them. And so that's where the etiquette idea came from. And then it was great. I have a daughter who's in the Air Force, and she was
The best.
stationed in England. She was stationed in England. So I thought, I'm going to make the most of this and I'm going to get to see her at the same time. And that's when I started doing my etiquette um, school, was while she was in England.
Listen, I am 1,001% behind you on this etiquette. All right. Like, okay, so before I get into that, Glenroy, hey Glenroy, welcome to the show tonight. He is a regular, okay, as well. And he says,
Hello.
gentlemen, online, we are at an advantage. Brown shoes and belts for vibrant colors, black belts and shoes for blues, grays, and black. There are some blue outfits that will go well with browns. Make sure your socks are appropriately matched or that your sock game is conversational in case you want to fit out a bit. LOL. Like,
That's great.
it is great.
And I love it when socks are a little bit wild so that they can be a conversational piece.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a great way to break the ice and to get people laughing and at ease.
Yeah. I absolutely agree that these things work because, you know, everybody's going to show up pretty much the same flavor. There will be like the air of, okay, everybody's kind of the same. But so adding the twist, if you will, there was a guy that was in a class that I just graduated from last week. He had on the same color pink suit. He had on his pink suit. Okay. And it was so crazy because we both, like, I came off the elevator, I was at the going to my car, and we both saw each other and we're like, what are the odds of us wearing the same colored suit?
I
So,
love it.
I do too, because men and women, I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
really there's no rules, you know?
Nope.
So whatever, however you want to express yourself. And I mean, he showed up and he was so confident. And the other guys, of course, you know how some guys could be like, oh my gosh, he's in all pink, and he was so comfortable and confident in that. So I
I
was
love
like,
that.
yes, yes. Um,
Yes,
so this
absolutely.
etiquette, yeah, this etiquette thing, this networking. Let's talk about this just a little bit. So, um, when you said you can have the best outfit on, all right, just to the nine, and looking confident, but the performance is off because you're not quite sure of how to operate in that particular environment for wherever it is. And so use an example of, at the table and having a conversation, you're like, how does that go where you feel like people are actually listening to what I have to say, and how to make yourself stand out where they remember what you're saying and can connect the dots to, oh my goodness, I met this lady last night, and I'll use myself as an example. She was wearing pink, because that is a color all the time. And so, but but it goes into, having different ways to build. Okay. So I think these are the
Mhm.
building blocks, right? You have the
Yeah.
outfit, and then you have the etiquette, right?
Mhm.
To make sure that, you weren't showing up, um, and not really landing and,
Yeah.
landing conversations, opportunities, and so, you know, the way that you put that of really wanting to explore that space, I just really find that intriguing.
Thank you. Well, when you have those extra skills, um, you can really focus on what matters. And
Mm,
also with etiquette, you don't notice when somebody has great manners. You just feel comfortable around them. But when things are off, you notice those things. Somebody chews with their mouth open, you notice it. Or if somebody is gossiping even at a networking event or a conference, you know that's not great. It's the it's those things that stick out that you don't want to stick out. Um,
yeah.
so good manners don't always, the nuances are there and they help you elevate your presence.
Yes. I agree. And even Jen says, love how you decided to learn etiquette helping your clients, Trisha.
Thank you, Jen.
And then
That's
Glenroy says, go ahead.
no, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
read his.
And Glenroy says, and another key element is to make sure that your fragrance is not too strong and overbearing, but lingers just long enough in such a way that causes pause. So
Excellent point.
it is an excellent point.
Yes.
Glenroy, I'm interested. How many sprays are you doing this? Okay, like how many? I mean, because I think we have all been taught certain ways to put on our cologne or our perfume over the years. I learned from one of my girlfriends. Now, like right or wrong, I mean, exclamation was the perfume of her choice, and this was in the 90s. It was in the white bottle with a little black, explanation
Yep.
point in the middle of it, if anybody remembers. And she would just go all over. I mean, it was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, but that must be right, right? And so I remember doing that, and my dad was like, "Oh my goodness, baby! Like, did you like jump all the way into the perfume bottle?" I was like, "Is it too much?" So yeah, Clearway, we want to know like how many of these sprays and like kind of what is your process for this? All right, just curious minds want to know. And then Jen said people notice the small details.
Even as women, one of the things I always teach my clients, always carry your handbag in your left hand, no matter where you are. Because that way, if you are introduced to somebody, even at the grocery store, you can immediately shake, and that moment is solid. If you're having to shift your handbag over or whatever you're carrying to your left hand and then you go into shake, it's just kind of messy. So I love a strong handshake
Oh,
that
me
you're
too.
ready to give at any moment. So my clients know, keep that handbag in their left hand.
Yeah. And I think the other tip that I've been taught too is not to carry my drink in my right hand, to carry it in my left hand, because who wants a wet hand? Okay, like the
Yes.
unless you got a napkin around it, okay, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, the sweat of the drink is on the outer glass,
Mm-hmm.
and so shaking somebody's hand with a wet hand is just kind of like, ee.
Yeah. And it's such an easy way to hold eye contact when you're going in for that handshake, that
Yeah,
gentle eye contact that just says, I'm here, I'm listening to you. And that 7 seconds you have to make a first impression is a solid impression when you are ready for a handshake and you can make the eye contact and you do your handshake right. There's even nuances to the way you hold your hand and
hmm,
the,
yeah. Which I think again, these are some things that we can start to practice even
Mhm.
as we get back into the work center. I know people have been at home, virtual, even Zoom calls. I mean, there's etiquette to Zoom calls too. Like
Absolutely.
that has not been really talked about a lot. But I think that,
Yeah.
a lot of times people just getting on there and just like it is what it is, right? And it's like
Right.
you have no idea like what opportunity may come from that, from showing up on
Mhm.
camera, from making sure that you have, a decent appearance going on, background, all lighting. It's the whole thing, right?
Well, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And some people will, one of the rules for Zoom is so that, your headspace is just right on your computer. And people don't even think about that sometimes. And they'll have the computer in their lap or looking up. Everywhere you're in a meeting, you make your presence known. Own
Yeah.
that room.
Yeah. And make it good. All right. Because
Make it
sometimes
good.
that's the last time they'll ever see you. And you don't
That's
want to
right.
be the one they talk about for years to come. Like, oh my gosh, did you see how they showed up?
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
Glenroy says, I don't use sprays or alcohol based colognes. I use fragrances, body butters for men because they soak into the skin and even allow for a supplement skin presentation. If you have a beard, you can massage a little in the beard. And he's giving some little tips here. Like Glenroy
He's
is
given some
like,
tips.
huh?
That's a smart idea to do.
Yeah, I agree. You know, um, this is these things that we find out. And just like what you share about keeping your handbag in your left hand, those small details make a huge difference, making a memorable, positive first impression. Yes, agreed. That's why they need us. Okay. That's why you need an image consultant in your space
That's
all day, every day. It's not like we're judging you or any of that thing. For me, it's like I want everyone to feel like they have had the best opportunity. Like they've had like the
right.
winning card, right? Like we understand what we can do and how we can do it, and we're going to use it to our advantage. We're leveraging these little but mighty, ways so that way we can make the right connections with the people that we are trying to make the impression on because everybody's trying to make impressions, all right, good or bad,
Yes. Yes.
but we prefer good.
Yes.
Glenroy says another tip: utilize web-based business cards. You only need one. Everyone has a cell phone that can scan QR codes, and it prevents you from having to look for business cards. Very professional savvy. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. but there's also a teaching element to that too, because what I find is people don't go all through the steps of doing this QR scan code. So sometimes these apps have you do yet another step. You understanding what the next step is important, so that way you can guide your new contact appropriately. This is what
And
I've
another
learned several times.
yes, and another element to that, to take that a step further, after you're networking and you have their business information, it's never a bad thing to drop them an email the next day, thanking them, meeting them, and maybe reiterate something you talked about. So you make that solid connection with that person. You never know where that could lead, or how that enhances your business or their business in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in the follow-up. It really
It's
is.
all in
And if
follow
you
up.
yeah, and if you remember the things, even better, because it gives that special touch. And we all have
Yes.
devices, so we know we can write some notes in our phones when we meet new
Yes.
people to give us a brain jogger, because we have a lot of things going on. But
Yes.
being smart about it. And then
Mm-hmm.
Jen says, I had a Zoom interview where the interviewee was lying on a bed with his laptop on his stomach. I thought I seen it all. Nope.
Oh, Jen,
I know.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Me neither.
How did you keep a straight face?
Yes. I tell you.
That,
I just
mm,
don't think people even think about it. They just like they're
no.
doing what the this is like. It's almost, for me, I call it reckless. You're being reckless with
Yeah.
your impression, your brand. So we could talk brand all day because that is what I do. But
Mhm.
I would never want my brand to speak to. I'm lying here with this laptop on my stomach, and I'm just
Yes.
in my house, just laying around. I don't take this seriously. Like, what is
Yeah.
going on here? Sorry that happened to you,
Yeah.
Jen. She says I do judge.
I love it. That one would be a hard one not to get.
Yeah, it's hard not to, because sometimes these choices that we see, I'm just like, why here, why now? Why here, why
Yeah.
now? I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
it's more
Yes.
lax than ever nowadays. She says, love the follow-up email, letting them know you remember them. Absolutely. And Donnell, hey Donnell, my brother from another mother. He is retired
Hello.
Army, and he says 3 F's: follow up, follow through, and finish.
I like that.
Yes, I love that. That's a quick reminder. So if you guys want some tips, Donnell is in here, Jen is in here, and Glenroy is dropping all kinds of gems tonight. So we thank y'all for showing up and adding value
Yes.
to the
Thank you.
conversation. She said I had to keep my as a matter of fact. Well,
That would be so hard. I'm impressed, Jen.
yeah, me too. And Glenroy says, always, always, always follow up. In fact, make it a point to have an email drafted for these purposes that you can send immediately at the end of the event. This shows that you take the time spent with you as valuable and that you are serious about the connection.
Yes. These are
Yes.
great business etiquette tips
Yeah,
for everybody, that they're just easy to do, but it sets you apart and it's so important. So thank you,
it
Glenroy.
is. Yeah. And they get you calls because I've done this.
Mhm.
And you get calls, or people want to connect with you. They want to, find out more about you. And again, these are just, people may think that we're being like in the details, but it is all in the details.
It is all in the details. I
It
totally
is.
agree with
So,
you. And the
we talk.
details just feel better.
Yeah, the details set you apart. They literally, because people remember that. They remember,
Mhm.
like, so here recently, I've been wearing this little brooch. I didn't wear it tonight, but I've been wearing it on my jackets or whatnot. Believe me, I'm not spending lots of money on these things, right? So it's just this one simple little gold pearl brooch. And I have gotten so many compliments about this little brooch, and it just,
I love
people, like brooches, you wouldn't think that they were back in style the way that they used to be back in the day.
mhm.
But it is just one of those things that you can put on and you not even realizing what it does to the viewer's eye. It just catches people's eyes. And it drew people in. They're like, "Oh, I really like your brooch." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." you know,
And it's a great conversation, way to start a conversation.
it is. And I always love conversations because if you're in business or even in your career, or
Mhm.
maybe you're running for a certain community position or whatnot, you're always being looked at, always being looked at. And
Yes.
what better way to be looked at when you're, put together, if you will. I'm not talking about being perfect, y'all, but you could tell when someone takes the time and when somebody does not. Okay, you can tell, right? Um, and Glenroy says that tip is good for interviewing when he's talking about following
100%.
up.
100%.
Yeah. And then Jen says, yes, details set you apart. It shows how much you care for yourself. It sets a standard for others and how to treat you. Wear your confidence.
Absolutely. And that's whether you're going to the grocery store or a business meeting. Um, you can still elevate yourself in a casual athleisure wear. And one of my tips for that even is if you're going to have the athleisure wear on, make sure your hair and makeup is done so
Mm,
that you kind of, and it doesn't have to be excessive, but you're still your brand when you show up at the grocery store or you are out and about. It's important to still be put together.
yes. And here's since we're all sharing tips in here today, okay, so I'll share one of the ones that I do very often. So everyone knows when they see me that I am in some type of a heel. Now, when I go into the grocery store and I know I've got a lot of shopping or doing errands, I have another pair of shoes which I can walk comfortably in, but they are on brand and they are comfortable. So like choosing, like understanding where you're going to go and how you're going to move around in the world, if you will. These are things that we can do so we still feel, like you said, elevated, but not overly dressed, but it does make a difference. I have seen the grocery bag people, and they're usually young boys. Um, take a notice, all right? So I had one that said, "Oh, ma'am, you look so nice today." And I said, "Oh, thank you." Who doesn't want compliments? If anybody tells me that they don't want to be complimented, I don't believe a word of that. Everybody wants to feel like someone noticed them on how they showed up in a more, energy. I call it energy because I feel like we
Yes.
all have certain energy and we want to bring out the better part of the energy that we have. Um, and why not being kind in the world and showing people, hey, you know what? I'm not afraid to express myself. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yep.
Okay, y'all. I think we've been on here, Trisha, for almost an hour. As I always say, that we can probably carry on a conversation for another hour on this
Yes.
alone. But I just want to thank you for your time of being here on the Slate to Success Talk Show. Are there any final
Thank you.
comments that you want to make before we leave? I have one more question for you, but before that, just
Okay.
anything else that you have that you want to share?
Um, I would think the first thing people need to do if they're hesitant about their style is just start with what they have and go through your closet Figure out what you love and wear what you love.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Like, start with the style, what you got going
Yep.
on right now. And then you could build. That's why I just love the
Yes.
way that, this industry is. You can start from where you're at, and then you could decide the next time that you go shopping to be intentional, right?
Yes.
Instead of just buying just random things. And I've had people like buy the same of something, like 5 of the same of somethings, and I'm like, "What is all this?" Like, I don't wanna go outside the box or anything like that. I'm like, "Okay." But so, but have a plan. I would say also have a plan,
Yes.
right? When we're
Have a
going, so that
plan.
way we're not, investing into things that we will regret once we get
Yeah.
them home. I've seen a lot of people returning a lot of things at counters, because they just said, "Oh, I just didn't like it." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
And start a Pinterest board of everything you love and mimic what you love.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we've got a few more comments here. So Glenroy said, fellas, unless you are meeting at a muddy construction site, make sure your shoes are clean and serviceable. To trust a man with dirty shoes outside of a construction site says a lot about that man's standards and responsibility. Just, woo!
That's
Yeah, like that's the first thing I look at is people's shoes. So I'm just saying, I don't know why, but I always kind of look down. I'm like, what's going on here? Like,
I love it.
anyone who has mud on their
Yeah.
shoes, I'm like, what are we doing here? Where'd you just come from?
Yes.
Any shoe could be cleaned. I'm just saying, okay. And Jen said, absolutely. I wear makeup every day, even when I stay at home. Looking the part is an everyday practice. It becomes a part of your daily routine, so you look your best without thinking about it.
Yeah.
That right there deserves a
Hey,
clap,
Jen.
Jen.
Yep.
Because if you get out of the
Believe yourself.
routine,
Mhm.
listen, I get dressed up every day the same way. If I don't go anywhere, I don't go anywhere. Okay. But usually I'm going somewhere. The last thing that I want to be worried about is trying to do makeup and all this stuff in the middle of the day. My energy at that time just keeps going down and down and down and down. So I love that. That's one of your practices because it's one of mine too.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, my last question before we get out of here, I asked all my guests, um, what they would want their family and friends to say about them on their 80th birthday party. And the reason why I ask this question is because, legacy is big to me. Like doing the things that we absolutely love, but doing it in such a way that it is impactful. And, we have more days, behind us than we do in front of us. And so now is just another opportunity for us to do things that our friends and our families will remember. So, what would you want your family and friends to say about you?
Ooh, I think the thing that really pops into my mind is that on my 80th birthday, they would all talk about how kind I was and that I was inclusive of everybody and that I made people happy.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that I
I'm
felt
sure.
they felt seen by me.
Mm, well, I think that is already a done deal, Trish. I think that, my interaction with you has been nothing short of that. So I believe that you're already there, but, we got to make sure, right? We're going to hold each other accountable to
We
what we
gotta
say we
work
want to
on that.
do.
I will get to 80 before you.
Well, well, have to check in there. Oh, God is, God is going to be good to us and bless us with those many days, for sure. Definitely want to hear what they say. But like I said, this
Yeah.
has been absolutely amazing. Love having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Then Glenroy is just pumping these tips on out. He's saying, keep a kitten in the car. Oh, keep a kit in the car. Fragrance, facial whites, moisturizer for the face, toothbrush, mouthwash, etc. Even in the events, basically a date with other professionals to sharp shape, turn, professional life, shaping. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we know what you mean. All right, have the kit, so that way you could be ready to freshen up at any notice. So absolutely love that. And Jen says both
Yes.
of you look amazing. Thank you,
Thank you, Jen.
Jen. Well, we want to say thank you to our guests who came here live on the show, because being here live on the show meant that you were tuning in, that you were intentional and purposeful about being here. So we just want to thank Melissa Villalobos on the YouTube side. We had Jen and Glenroy and Donnell on the LinkedIn side. And then on the Facebook side of the house, we had Kim and Jeba. So we thank you all for being here
Thank
and for
you.
showing up and for being a part of this conversation tonight. Now, stay tuned, because next Sunday I have another SLAYMAZING guest at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and making sure that you come back for that conversation. And last but not least, that QR scan code in the corner of your screen is for the Rebrand Boldly Masterclass that is going on tomorrow night. And this is for anyone interested in having a rebrand, okay? Because maybe you just need a freshen up, you right? Maybe you pivoted, maybe you had a career setback, maybe you're going into business and you're just looking for something new, okay? So that is absolutely complimentary, but we'd love to see you there if you're available for that. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything that I do is usually at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye. You're welcome.